My name's Olivia Lopez. I've been born and raised in San Francisco back in 1973. I've lived in Hunters Point for 9 years. I've moved around a lot, different cities, but I always come back home. I have 3 birth children and 1 foster child. 3 of them are adult, and then I have the youngest one, which is 8. It's Malik. He is also the reason why I came to Open Door Legal as well.
My name is Patricia Moon, and I was one of Olivia's lawyers in family court. When Olivia first came to Open Door Legal, she met with our team and was looking for help for herself and for her young son, Malik. Malik's father, Michael, had filed for visitation for their son, but Olivia had spent years on the receiving end of abuse from Michael. In Olivia's case, Malik's father had already been found by both criminal and family court to have abused her. It's not uncommon for us to see family court issue restraining orders, but it's not frequent for clients to have permanent criminal protective orders issued on their behalf. But Michael's violence and abusive behavior of Olivia was of such a serious nature that both courts issued multi-year permanent restraining orders against him on her behalf. However, these restraining orders did not protect Malik, as Michael had not abused Malik. Now, I don't think anyone expects to be in an abusive relationship. Olivia certainly did not. When she talks about her relationship with Michael, she shared about how they started dating back in 2008 and how they just clicked. She thought she was in a normal and happy relationship, but things took a turn for the worse.
I think there was one time I had to go out of town and I didn't answer my phone because I had really no reception where I was at. And so he thought I was cheating on him, and I'm like, okay. And so that's when things started getting bad. That January of 2018, that was one of the other major incidents that happened, to where he came downstairs. He hit me with the butt of the gun. He kept trying to grab my face and hitting it on the floor. That's why I don't like that hallway. I don't like that hallway. And then there was another time after that. It's covered. I think this chair, this leg is on top of it, but he shot at me with the gun.
What was he like when he wasn't?
Sweet. Oh, excuse me. He was really sweet, really nice, caring. And I'm just like, wow, I mean, you're just like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like, this is crazy. Like, you know, you could be the loving person, sweet person, romantic person, and then boom, you get drunk or you get high. It's just like, whoa, monster comes out.
How did he treat Malik?
At first it was really good. You know, he was really on him. He taught him how to walk, taught him how to use the bathroom. So I let him have that opportunity to teach his son what he wanted to teach him. He taught him his words, his numbers, and that's when he would kind of get a little rough with him. Like, you know, the baby would get tired. Like, okay, Daddy, you know, how many times you're gonna go over this with me? You know what I'm saying? I'm tired. He was only 3 or 4 at the time. And he was like, quit playing with me like I'm stupid or something. I know you know this, you know, but I always try to put the attention on me away from him. When I know that, you know, Malik was about to get yelled at or something, I'll try to intervene. And I'm like, he gonna grow up to hate you. But you mark my words. It took me about a day before I found you guys. And so I went on ahead and went down there, and that's when I met Kevin. And I met a few other people that were there, and we talked, and we're like, okay, we can take your case. We can do this.
When Olivia came to Open Door Legal, she told us that she wanted to protect her son, Malik. From hearing Olivia talk about Michael, it was clear she was afraid of the violence he was capable of. This was somebody who on multiple occasions had strangled her, hit her with a gun, threatened to kill her, and beat her so badly that she lost consciousness. In the most recent incident, he punched her repeatedly, pointed a 9mm at her face, and strangled her. Malik witnessed some of these incidents. He was only 5 when he saw his dad pointing a gun at his mom, threatening to kill her. So, naturally, Olivia was worried about their son resuming contact with his dad. At that point, family court had ordered that Malik have supervised visits with his dad at a place called Rally. She had no idea what Rally was or how they would ensure Malik's safety. She didn't understand how to advocate for her son in this court, and she didn't understand whether or not the judge had really considered how violent Michael had been towards her. At the next hearing in February of 2020, the judge reiterated the visitation order, and Olivia committed herself to getting the rally visits going once she understood the safety precautions in place. But the judge had ordered her to pay a portion of the cost for visits, which was $40 a month. She was living on less than $600 a month, so she had to build that into her budget. But she was willing to do it so her son could have safe visitation with his father.
He was trying to still fight it. He was like, when am I going to see my son? You know, the judge was like, there's nothing you can do. We know courts are shut down, you know, since the pandemic.
When Raleigh shut down with the pandemic, as Olivia says, the court didn't order any in-person visitation. Olivia still offered to facilitate video visits for Michael, which the court agreed to. But Michael didn't follow up on arranging any visits with their son. Instead, 2 months after the order for video visits was issued, he filed his own domestic violence restraining order against Olivia. He was asking for the court to take Malik away from his mom, to prevent Malik from seeing his mom until the hearing, and to order that Malik only have supervised visits with his mom. Given Michael's prior abuse towards Olivia, the bogus allegations he made against her, and the extreme demand he made to remove Malik from his mom, it was clear that this request was retaliatory and not at all focused on his son's well-being. In order to respond to this bogus DVRO request, Olivia had to revisit the years of abuse she went through and go back to court to fight for custody of their son. But I could tell that this time around, Olivia felt empowered. She was more than ready to tackle his baseless allegations, and I could tell that she knew she could keep herself and her family safe. When we appeared in court for the hearing, Michael was nowhere to be found, and the judge did not hear the case. This was a victory for Olivia, for her family, and it was our hope that Olivia could be empowered to continue to move forward with her life.
Since I was still dealing with the family courts, I said, Patricia, can we file for divorce? And she's like, yeah, right now would be the perfect time to do it. So that's when we find, I go, I'm ready. I can't get nothing out of this man. I can't get child support, spousal support, nothing, because he's on an SSI. I just want to be able to where I can walk, I can drive or walk around to where I don't feel like if I go somewhere, he's going to be there. The life I want for Malik and me can finally happen now that we are safe. We don't have to be scared in our own hometown anymore. We can look forward to the future now. He can grow into a strong, kind young man, and I can continue to heal without no kind of fear. I am so thankful for the legal aid that I got from Open Door Legal, and also to allowing us to be safe as a family now.